I feel like every game needs that character. You know the one that is heavily advertised and is most famous despite being mid-tier. And Dead by Daylight is no exception with their version of that character, the Trapper, aka Evan McMillan. Evan McMillan was born to a wealthy businessman named Archie McMillan. He and his father were the bosses of the appropriately named McMillan estate, which prioritized iron and other metals such as that. The production was always high and it prospered under their rule. However, no good thing could last forever, and Archie McMillan's mental health deteriorated slowly over time, leading to Evan needing to protect his father from the vultures who were after his fortune. Evan idolized his father and would do anything for him, leading to what would be known as the worst mass murder in human history once Archie finally snapped. It was never proven, but Evan led over 100 men into the mines before detonating the escape routes, leading to their deaths. Nobody had found out what had happened to Evan McMillan, but they did find Archie dead and abandoned in the basement of his own warehouse. The Trapper starts with 3 teachable perks: Unnerving Presence, Brutal Strength, and Agitation. Unnerving Presence makes anyone within your 32-meter tear radius have a 10% greater chance of triggering skill checks. These skill checks then have reduced success zones by 60%. Brutal Strength allows the Trapper to destroy drop pallets, breakable walls, and generators 20% faster. And finally, Agitation increases your movement speed while transporting bodies by 18%. While you are transporting a body, your tear radius is increased by 12 meters, making the Trapper's tear radius 44 meters in total. The Trapper's power is very simple. You start the trial with 2 bear traps and you can set a bear trap wherever you see fit on the ground. If a survivor steps in it, they will yell out in pain, revealing their location and being trapped in place. They must attempt to escape the trap before you go to them. If you hit them with your weapon or pick them up directly, they go into the dying state and you can hook them right there. Or they can just escape with only an injured state if they are lucky enough to do so. The rest of your bear traps appear randomly across the map and you can collect them by going to them and pressing the interaction button. You may only have a maximum of 2 bear traps on your person at any given time by default. Trapper's gameplay is very simple. At the beginning of the match, you are most likely going to set up bear traps in the area you spawn at. This will most likely have you losing 1 or 2 generators, but that is pretty normal. You mostly want to trap high traffic areas or loops that are too safe for survivors. Avoid making your traps too obvious, as survivors can disarm them, but don't be afraid to take a risk for your own benefit. Trapper's lunge is very generous, and you can often get hits you shouldn't be getting by lunging. If you are at 1 generator, it might be beneficial to trap an exit gate so that you only have to spend time patrolling 1 until it is disarmed. Basement Trapper is by far the best way to play Trapper, but it does warrant extra salt from the survivors at the end. Trapper is best at closing down loops. He's like that kid who changes the rules of a game because he is losing, except you can get rid of the rule if you have some extra time later. He is a unique killer in the way that 3 of his 4 basic brown add-ons are good, and most of the higher rarities are bad. Standout Trapper add-ons are Trapper Gloves for setting bear traps faster, Bear Oil for making bear traps completely silent to set, Tar Bottle which makes traps darker, Trapper Bag which allows you to carry another bear trap, and finally Honing Stone, which is the most BS Trapper add-on, making any survivor caught in your bear trap immediately go into the dying state. No ifs, ands, or buts. However, Trapper's biggest flaw is how much time you have to spend finding your traps to begin with. You have to go across the whole map to find them, and sometimes that's just not feasible in a game where survivors are efficient. There is an add-on to get all your traps at the start, but you cannot pick up your traps after you place them with it. Overall, Trapper will get an E tier grade because he's not a terrible killer, I find him interesting at least, but his power is very lackluster, and I feel like they ought to just give him all his traps at the beginning and allowing the player to be punished if he has to go get one that's far away. With that being said, this has been Floored Beef, and we'll end it with the Mori Trapper's meat beating.